Good morning to all the students, dear subscribers and viewers. I am back to you with a new lesson today on our channel English Mania. Before getting into the topic, as usual, I would like to prepare you all for this lesson by narrating you a small funny story. A man was walking on the road. All of a sudden, it started raining very hard. He wanted a place for shelter. Luckily, he spotted a house covered with roof tiles on the roadside. He went inside in the hope of escaping from the rain. He stood inside the house for a few minutes. Only then he realized that it was useless staying inside the house because it was leaking very badly. When he turned back, he saw a man standing with an umbrella in his hand. It was no one but the owner of the house. The stranger asked the owner of the house, "Sir, this house seems to leak very badly. Why don't you change the roof tiles?" The owner said with a smile, "Of course you are right, sir, but it's raining. At this time, how can I change the roof tiles?" The stranger didn't expect such a reply from the owner. He continued speaking. "No, sir, I don't mean that. Why can't you change the tiles when it doesn't rain? For example, in summer." The owner of the house said, "I don't think it will be useful changing the tiles in summer because in summer there won't be any rain." The stranger was very much shocked. The story ends. Dear viewers, in this story, when you listen to the sentences spoken by the owner, we can realize one thing. He seems to reply negatively always to the comments of the stranger. Such people are called grumblers. Dear viewers, in today's video, we are going to learn a poem in 10th standard English in the topic The Grumble Family. The word grumble denotes complaining. Hence, this poem clearly narrates the people who complain about others present around them. Before heading into the topic, I would like to give you a short glimpse on the author of the poem. The poem is written by the poetess Lucy Maud Montgomery. She is a Canadian author. She has written many poems and she has also published around 20 novels, 500 poems, 530 short stories, and 30 essays. One of her most famous novels is The Anne of Green Gables. Now I am going to give you the line by line explanation of the poem. Stanza 1. There's a family nobody likes to meet. They live, it is said, on complaining street. In the city of never or satisfied, the river of discontent beside. In stanza 1, the poetess begins to give some details about the location of the Grumble family. She says that the Grumble family lives in a street called Complaining Street because all the people living on the street have the nature of complaining about everything. Therefore, their street is named as Complaining Street. And she also adds that no people will be interested to talk to them because of their complaining nature. And she also says in the line 3 and 4, in the city of never satisfied, the river of discontent beside. The city the family is living is called never or satisfied, There is a river said to be flowing near the city which is called discontent. Discontent means dissatisfaction. So, by telling the location of the Grumble family, the poetess nicely brings out the characteristics of the family. It by telling complaining street, she brings out the fact that the family is living with the nature of complaining, and she has used a sentence telling that they are living in the city of never or satisfied. Once again, never or satisfied is their nature. They are very hard to be satisfied by anything. And in the last line of stanza 1, we can see a word called discontent. Discontent means, as I said earlier, dissatisfaction. Even though we give many things to the Grumble family, they cannot be satisfied. Now we will come to stanza 2. They growl at that and they growl at this. Whatever comes, there is something amiss. These lines once again give us a clear picture about the Grumble family. They complain at everything that are present around them. She uses the word growl. Growl means to make a guttural sound from the throat. It means this sound indicates that we express our dissatisfaction over something. It actually means that we are dissatisfied with the person speaking to us. Therefore, the Grumble family shows a great level of dissatisfaction at all things present around them. She says, whatever comes, there is something amiss. Amiss means not right. This line stands as a very good example to show the bad nature of the Grumble family. Even though they get whatever they want, they will be ready to find fault in that. And whether the station be high or humble, they are all known by the name of Grumble. Here the poet says that whether the grumblers are rich or poor, they do not quit the habit of grumbling, that is, complaining. In real life, rich people don't mostly complain because they have everything. It is quite natural that poor people complain for not having enough money. But the grumblers, whether they are rich or poor, will always go on with the habit of complaining in their life. Let us now go to stanza 3. The weather is always too hot or cold. Summer and winter alike they scold. Nothing goes right with the folks you meet down on the gloomy complaining street. The grumblers will go to the extreme of even complaining about the nature's setup. When the climate is pretty hot, then they would like to have a climate with chill weather. On the other hand, if the climate is too cold, then they would be willing to have a climate with much heat. This is what the grumblers do. So they are not ready to accept what is happening naturally. If everything happening around them goes on very well, then they would even make a complaint that why is there nothing to complain about. From this stanza, we come to understand that it is very hard for the Grumble family to live even one day without complaining about something. Now it's the next stanza for you. But the curious thing is that not one of the same can be brought to acknowledge his family name, for never a grumbler will own that he is connected with it all you see. In this stanza, the poetess reveals that people belonging to the Grumble family will never come forward to accept that they are living in the Grumble family. It means they are not willing to accept the truth that they are grumblers. They try to justify that they are very good. Have you ever heard of a thief who have stolen much money and admitting that he has done the crime? Similarly, the Grumble family members will also not always come forward to accept that they have been grumbling all through the day and all through the life. And now is the next stanza for you. The worst thing is that if anyone stays among them too long, he will learn their ways. And before he dreams of the terrible jumble, he is adopted into the family of Grumble. In this stanza, the poetess tries to tell us that the habit of grumbling is very powerful so that it will also turn good people into grumblers. She says that a normal person will become a grumbler after she has some contact with the Grumble family very soon, that even he won't realize that he has become a grumbler. Let me tell you a small story to emphasize this thought from the poem. There was a generous rich man living in a city. He was badly in need of blood. He searched for many donors, but none of the people had the blood which the rich person wanted. Finally, a man came after knowing of the need of blood to the generous person. The man who came forward to donate blood was a stingy person. Stingy means one who does not spend money or one who does not give anything to others. He donated the blood. The generous man gave 10,000 rupees to the donor of the blood. Then a month passed. Once again, the generous and rich man was in need of blood. Again, the same stingy person came and donated blood, but this time the rich person gave only 5,000 rupees as a reward to the donor. The stingy man asked the generous rich man, "Sir, why did you give only 5,000 rupees to me this time?" The rich man said, "When you donated blood to me for the first time, my body had my own blood. I was naturally a generous person, so according to my nature, I gave you 10,000 rupees. But after I had the blood from your body, I started to react according to your nature, that is stingy nature. Therefore, I started reflecting your habit of stinginess and I gave you 5,000 rupees." From this small story, we come to understand that if a good man has some contact with bad people, he is very sure to be affected by the bad people. We can connect the story with our poem that when a good person has some contact with the Grumble family, he will also very soon become a grumbler, even without the knowledge of becoming a grumbler. Let us go to next stanza. And so it were wisest to keep our feet from wandering into complaining street, and never to growl whatever we do, lest we be mistaken for grumblers too. In this stanza, the poetess wants the readers that we should be very aware about the habit of grumbling and grumblers. We should not always get in touch with the grumblers. If we do so, then we will also become grumblers. Then people call us grumblers. We should never complain and blame or criticize in any of the activities. If we do so, then we will also be labeled as grumblers. Let us go to the last stanza. This very stanza is the theme that we are going to learn from the poem. Let us learn to walk with a smile and a song, no matter if things go sometimes wrong, and then be our station high or humble. We will never belong to the family of Grumble. Through this stanza, the poetess Lucy Montgomery invites the readers to lead a life full of happiness and smile. Then we will never belong to the Grumble family. Before signing off from today's video, I would like to stress the moral of the poem. Dear students and subscribers, this world is a part of both positives and negatives. If we focus on negative things, then we will become grumblers. Our life will be always filled with unwanted things and negative attitude. Whereas if you try to focus on so many positive things that we can find around us, then our life will be always happy and successful till the end. That's all for today's lesson. Thank you, students and viewers and subscribers. Please do comment on this video, share to others as much as possible. Thank you, students.